So for today's video, we are going to talk about uh, ARP or Address Resolution Protocol. So for me, for my own understanding about ARP, it is very needed for every. It is needed when the device doesn't know what is the MAC address of the device that the user want to send data or messages. And let's begin. So ARP or Address Resolution Protocol. This ARP helps helps the sender device to know the MAC address of the receiver's device. So, but how does the device request for the MAC address of the specific receiver? So ARP request request will do the thing, because what does the ARP request does? ARP request will going to because, for example, there's a given um the sender device has the IP address and the source IP address and the destination IP address, but it doesn't have the MAC address. So that device will going to broadcast an ARP request until it finds the destination IP address. So when it finds the destination IP address, that destination IP address will going to send an ARP reply to the sender, for the sender to know that it 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 is a that device has that device has the what we call it that device has the same has the same IP address on the sender's destination IP address. So that that device will going to send an ARP reply, which is its own MAC address. And now the sender the sender of the data or message will have the MAC address of the destination, and now they can exchange data, and they can exchange in, they can exchange data, messages, and other information. So the last part of it is the ARP table. What does the ARP table does? So every time the ARP request was sent to every devices and ARP reply was replied by a specific device, it will be stored on the ARP table, so that if there's a continuous communication between two devices, the ARP table knows that that devices has that MAC address, and that device has that MAC address, so that it won't it won't always send it won't always going to send an ARP request for each other just to send a message. But if the connection between the two devices was gone, the ARP cache was only has a limit of 2 minutes per 2 minutes. So if that 2 minutes was over, that MAC address on the ARP table will be deleted permanently. So if they want to establish another connection again, the device must send an ARP request, and the other device will going to reply to the ARP request that's sent by the sender, and the communication will go in cycle again. Then if if the what we call it, if the device has, if the connection has ended, so the ARP table will just simply delete the MAC addresses. Now let's see some things on NetAcad. So here, wait. So as we can see, this is the introduction to ARP. Let's read something. ARP destination MAC address. Oh, okay. It's the two basic functions of ARP is resolving IPv4 addresses to MAC addresses and maintaining table mappings. So the ARP function, let's watch this figure. Then this is what I said earlier, that the sender will going to send a broadcast ARP request, so that if the if the if the destination IP address is matched to other devices, so that is the device that we're going to send an ARP reply to our sender. So as we can see, it's a reply, and this sender received the and then this sender, if the sender receives the ARP reply, so it can now deliver the information or data or messages to the receiver. And what's next? So let's proceed to the ARP table. This ARP and this removing ARP from ARP table is what I've said earlier, that has 2 minutes, 2 minutes duration. So after the 2 minutes and the connection was, and it has no connection at all. There's no connection between two devices. So the MAC address and the ARP table will be deleted permanently. So this is the ARP table. So to show the ARP table on the CLI, just simply type the A, show IP ARP or ARP-A. It's, I think it's just the same. It's just the same. The CLI will going to show, and this show IP ARP will must be entered on the privileged exec mode, because as we know, almost all of the things that we can view to our configuration is we can is will wait will able to display to the privileged exec mode. So that's all for ARP, or Address Resolution Protocol, and thank you for watching. I hope you understand something from me, and thank you.